here on, what are we, Thursday? Yeah. As you can tell, I'm still waking up. Not quite 7 o'clock in the morning, so getting a bit of a late start. We're back on my alts plot, celery. Gonna work a little bit more on the, excuse me, the CBDC challenge, the monument for that. Again, for those that aren't familiar, I do this challenge thing for my guild. Each month we get a different theme, and this month's theme is a monument to commemorate our guild's 1-year anniversary. And I've chosen to try and make a bust statue kind of thing of our guild leader, who happens to be an Orin. Big pointy ears. You can see I've been trying to fashion some kind of ear thing going on, and trying to put in some facial features. He looks kind of mad. Nothing super fancy, just, you know, playing around with ideas. What I may do just to kind of entertain myself is, once I feel like this one's kind of at a place that I can't really do anything more with it, then I may move to a different idea. And just do a few in here for the fun of it, and see what all we can come up with. I haven't looked at this for a couple of days. Yesterday we had the Dominion tours, and just kind of have not really given this a second glance since the last time we were here, so gonna see what we got going on. Trying to see if I can color this a little better like I did this one. It looks a little off. Really hard working with these little tiny pieces as well, because see what it is you're doing. So in this respect, probably working with a larger items and stuff would be a lot easier. Thinking bigger, because the ears are that narrow. I have a little picture that I'm kind of looking at, but it's from it's a frontal view, so I don't really have anything from the side that really shows just how large his ears are. So I'm just kind of guessing, but I'm imagining they're not that narrow. So I'm going to extend this a little bit more. And all I'm using is the green thorny logs. Typically when I work on these CBDC items, I tend to only use what's available on the vendor, because they're kind of like one-offs. I don't keep them around for long. In fact, usually when a new one comes out, I just get rid of the old one and start from scratch. This plot tends to be fairly empty. I've had a few, ask me, why don't you leave all of them on there? I could probably keep several at one time, but one thing I like to do is I like to kind of keep track of what items you use and how many. And when it's the only stuff on the plot, it's easier to keep track of. Right now, I still have Mortimer the fish on there, so you see there's like hundreds of plates and other items, and it'll be kind of a pain to try and figure out, okay, what piece is here, because not only do I have the Hoogles here, but I have them outside as well. And I will probably eventually get rid of the fish, but for the time being, I decided to leave them. But like I said, usually that goes bye-bye, just so it's easier to keep track of. But I'm hoping, since this is on the interior and the fish is on the exterior, I'll be able to just kind of go through. I know essentially what items I've used in this so far. It's mostly just been Hoogles, a couple of Orb wall pieces, and then the logs, and maybe a couple of statues for the eyes. So I should be able to select those items, and if it is a Hoogle, I can go down them and watch them light up and make sure that I'm counting however many used. Anyway, because they're kind of a temporary thing, I mean more so than other stuff that I work on, I tend to not craft or build anything special for them. I just use what's on the vendor or what I happen to have on hand. That's kind of limiting. I don't give that rule or anything. It's not exactly a rule, but I don't say that my guildmates have to follow that same procedure. So they're free to do whatever they want, use whatever items they can get a hold of, even if it's rare stuff. Because sometimes that can work to your advantage if you have some nifty stuff and can find a clever way to incorporate them into your build, then more power to you. But for me, I just I prefer cheap, easy access, and Housing Vendor is just super for that. So so a lot of times you'll notice I use a lot of the same materials over and over again, because that's what I have access to. Because another thing is, as I get annoyed with having to log off on one character to log on to the other one just to add something to their crate. I know it's not that big of a deal, but I would prefer to just be able to, if I'm on this alt's property, I feel like it should be able to recognize that if I'm there and I create something, I want it to go to their crate rather than mine. But I'm sure there's a lot of coding and stuff that entails that probably would just make things go really sour, or however you want to put it. It's really hard to mirror these. Again, I'm not really checking measurements or placement specifics or anything like that. I'm just kind of winging it as I usually do. Just feel like his ear a little bit more, he's got the little pointy tip, but then it needs a little more meatiness. So we're just kind of adding in a little bit extra. And one thing I like about these is when I am working on this particular plot, I tend to not have to worry about how many pieces I'm using, because obviously with very little on the plot already, the decor count is pretty open. Oops. Something like that. Okay, and the other day when we were on here before, we discussed options for like how to do the hair. I do have the thorny logs for the eyebrows. Excuse me. But because I have them for the ears already, it feels like it might blend to, it might look like more ears sticking out, or that this is just hair. I want there to be kind of a difference between the majority of the hair and the ears. So I think we're going to try, I'm just sending a few of these to the crate for now. I think I would like to try some of the swords. I fear that we're going to get into the same problem as far as bits that I have to hide that will probably stick out where I don't want them to. But we're going to see how that looks. So there's 3 different swords that we can go with. This one in particular, I think the handle is certainly too long. While the blade itself looks nice and wide, I think that will be too awkward. Now, one good thing this is excellent for is like if you want to make hedge clippers or a pair of scissors for like if you've got a barbershop, or you know, just need a pair of scissors for something. You want to build something a little unique. I've used this particular sword most of the time for those particular things. Of course, the sword itself is basically the handle and the blade, and you put 2 of those and you kind of cross them a little bit at the top. And then for the handles, the round parts of the swords, I usually I tend to use, because what it is usually I either have them on the wall, like if I made a barbershop way back when, and I had an enlarged pair of scissors to kind of indicate that they were on a wall, and then the smaller pair that I did inside the barbershop was on a table. It was actually a corrugated steel container, so I had plenty of space in both instances to hide things, to sink it down in. So for the handles of the scissors, I used buckets, and I just sunk them down until just the edge top of the bucket was showing, so it looked like a little ring of metal, and that's what I used for the handles. So, you know, there's a tip for anybody that wants to fashion a pair of scissors. Now, I've also seen a few use the wood-handled knives, wooden handled knives for edge clippers, especially those that like to make little garden areas inside their house, or to set up a little extra bit on their property. And you know, both work, but I like these swords here. So it's since this one I've pretty much decided that that's not going to be usable in the instance that I want to use it here. It's going to be either the engraved draken sword or the broad draken sword. And it may be a combination of the two, because it's kind of hard to see, but it looks like this one's longer maybe, and that one's a little more short. What I'll do is I'll just place one of each, and we'll kind of, yeah, just one looks a little fatter. It might be the same exact sword for all I know, just flipped differently. One's a little shinier, that's for sure. This one looks more a dull. The handle shape is a little bit different. So there's some differences, but and this one's got like some spiky bits on the end of the sword there. It's a little crueler looking blade. So what I may do is use a combination of the two, but first I have to see just how awful the handle is going to be to work with before I get carried away in using those bits. So like I said, I have an image of him, and he's got, you know, the typical Orin, reminds me of like Goku anime hairs, kind of all kinds of locks flowing this way and that. And I'm going to try my best to try and fashion these in a way that they kind of mimic that. I don't know how easy that's going to be, but we're about to find out. Just what a pain his hair is going to pose. So again, we have to go pretty small because of the size I picked. Now, I may regret picking it so small, but and I think for the bangs, the front part, it's better to be turned this. And again, I'm sure there's easier ways to excuse me, to do this. This is what's most comfortable for me, so that's what I'm sticking with. Hesitating to really go crazy on sizing it down, but I have a feeling I'm going to have to do it pretty harshly. What I'm hoping is, even if there's some bits sticking out here, I may be able to cover up with others going the opposite direction. I'm not sure. Let's go ahead and bring it down to 5. Now obviously the swords themselves don't really curve, so just kind of getting the hairline, the shape about the way I want. This engraved one. Maybe it would work better to look that one. Copied and pasted it, and they come in backwards to the other one. I just thought maybe it would help to alternate these bits to kind of give it that, like it's not the same piece of hair over and over, just kind of alternate between the two. Might be a little too long. A little bit more. But see what I mean by the difference in color? I know the ears and the hair actually match in color, but I guess for the stonework that this is supposed to, you know, resemble, I would prefer a difference of coloring, just to help it stand out against each other. So I think that might work for this. So I'm just going to lay out a few more of each. And I'll have to remember that they don't match up as far as orientation goes when I copy one and paste the other. So I'll have to copy this one to get it to move it. And again, I know that there's bits sticking out here, but I'm hoping that that will get hidden by other pieces that I put in. Mostly I'm looking for framing the face with the hair that he's got in the front, and then the back part I will worry about that later, because obviously there's a lot of weirdness going on back here because of the oogles themselves. So oops, drop away from here. Excuse me. Now, I also, I really don't feel like it'll be all that helpful in this particular build, plus the fact that I'm kind of unfamiliar with it, but I do have Katia's new housing add-on. I have downloaded it, I just haven't had a chance to really play around with it to see what exactly it does. But I would like to showcase it because I feel like a lot of people will find it very helpful. I watched the demo and she makes it look easy, but I'm sure there's a bit of a learning curve getting used to working with it. After having done it a different way so long, you know. But I would like to kind of check that out at some point. But by the looks of it, for those that are looking to build, especially spiral stairs, it'd probably work for any type of stairs where you have specific increments between your items that you're trying to get a hold of, you know, to spread it a certain amount evenly. Her add-on looks like it really will make that a breeze. It does correct a few things like issues with the seating, how it sometimes goes a little wonky with not allowing you to sit in the proper direction. Corrections for that in her add-on. There's also corrections for the offsetting when you do copy and paste, and you have, especially like for floors, when you're wanting them to be exactly the same height. Usually when you copy and paste, you copy this one and it offsets the paste just below it. So when you move it over, then you have to kind of manually pop it over. Well, she has a correction button on for her add-on that basically does it for you. You just hit the button and it figures it out. And that seems like a really handy feature to have access to. And I've already had a few guildmates that said it's an awesome add-on for them. But like I said, I just haven't gotten around to messing with it. No particular reason other than I have certain things in my day that I do, and some days I have time for more, and others I don't at all. So, and lately it's just been really busy. On the side, I'm helping Wilson collect images for certain items. He's the one that's the updater, owner, creator of the Living in WildStar website, and he's been super busy like the last, I want to say, week almost. He's been actively trying to get his database in order. I kind of get the feeling he's one of those, he's like a perfectionist, so he doesn't want to update just a little piece here, a little piece there. He wants to like have as much done as he can, and then he'll just throw it out, and everybody would like, wow, astounded at how much has been added and things like that. And so I'm hoping within the next day or so he'll have that ironed out like he wants. And just when I had 3 pieces there, but do that. Anyway, yeah, I've been helping him on the side with that, and I've got other projects that aren't game related that I've been also working on. So I just kind of have a lot of things going on, and so I don't have as much time for the gaming stuff as I would probably love. But I do make a point to do those things that I have either scheduled, like the tours yesterday, and I do try to do a daily stream, even if they have been kind of short these last couple of days. I do try and keep regular with that. Like some weird psycho with funky hair. Again. Gonna so hate me for this version of his character. Oh, it's so bad. Okay, so I'm gonna grab a couple more swords. And again, while usually I go for the cheapest, clearly you can't go too cheap with these because they're all the same price. Otherwise, I would probably be going for the 2-cent one or something. Oops, that was about the way I wanted it. It's hard to tell. I'm trying to get. He's got like he's got the short bits flaring around the top part, but then he's got these long. Yeah, it looks to be long hair bits down the side. So I'm trying to get that to work somewhere. Not an easy thing to do. Because again, you've got all these little bits that you don't want showing. That end up showing anyway. And again, I'm complicating it even further because I'm alternating between the two types of swords. So I do love to make things harder for myself. It looks like a pin cushion. Oh, poor guy. Yeah, this part might, be kind of all right, but I think doing the other bits to kind of get it to look like the hairs in the back may be much more painful. Really hard to see. Just what it is I'm doing here. Just trying to get some bits that are going like past his shoulder, because I mean it's not super long, but there is some length there, and I want to kind of catch that. As best I can. Something like that. Not quite right curve and everything, but anyway, trying to see if that's long enough or if it's too feathered looking or something. Maybe I should bring it as well. Yeah, I think that looks a little better. I'm not sure why that one particular change looks better to me, but it does. And probably need to do more spiking keep it there. Again, I'm still trying to alternate. Just to, I don't know if people can really tell that there's some difference in there, but I know there's difference, and you know, most of this is just building for my own amusement, so you know, if you know there's something there that shouldn't be or could be, and you feel like it belongs or doesn't belong, then you know, it's up to you to sort that out. Casually, slowly go down. Okay. There we go. Now okay, then he's got really long ones here. Again, it's really hard to get kind of like a curve going. Because these obviously don't curve, but if I can kind of get it kinda to kind of look like that, maybe it'll work. I'm sure his hairline and stuff probably isn't the right shape. Maybe his face is too big in comparison to the real life character, but doing my best. Doing my best. Adjusting sizes, angles, it's all just kind of guesswork. I think maybe helpful. One there. Ah, right. Looks a little better, I guess. I'm still not sure about the angle of these. These look still awful. Like it's too out instead of down, because I don't know what it is that I don't like about it, but it is something. Something looks funny. Okay, probably use, well, let's just finish the frontal view first, I guess, before I start getting all sidetracked with other things. I need some more engraved ones. I know I'm really quiet this morning, but I don't know, sometimes I feel like I'm just rattling on and on. No particular reason, just to fill the air. Not too big. I think that the angle's wrong. Yeah, I think that's, yeah. No, that doesn't work. There we go. That looks a little bit better because he's got it like it's flared this way, and then it kind of comes across face here a little bit. That's what I'm kind of trying to mimic, I guess. Maybe get some hair on the other side. Thank goodness he doesn't have any facial hair that I can see other than the eyebrows. Trying to get that so that the handle is mostly hidden. And it doesn't want to go in there, does it? Probably why I used the other one. It didn't seem to be bothered as much. Maybe if I make it smaller, that'll help. Kind of, sort of, maybe. No, that's wrong. Just the handles irking me. Okay, need a few more. Anyways, I was saying a little while ago, I'd like to showcase Katya's add-on, but I think I'm going to wait until maybe my next other type of building project, like if I'm going to do another house or something. I think I can do it better justice if I actually have something new. Or I may just play around with it and see if I can figure out how it works. But I don't want to just use it in here just for the sake of using it when it maybe really only hampers things, because I'm still kind of learning it. From the side and back, it looks god-awful. Not that it looks all that fantastic from the front, but at least you kind of get the idea of what it's supposed to be, sort of, maybe. I definitely have to apologize to him. Don't be mad because it looks awful. One thing about that, okay, we need something, what was that? Graved. Bottom. Maybe and one more at the top of that, but at a different angle. Next time, go with a bald character that you're going to memorialize. That is my note to self today. Okay, something like that. And you really can't see his ears or anything, you know, down here. They're up, kind of hidden behind the hair. So what I need to do is add a few more bits here and here to kind of finish, I don't know if that's sideburns or what. And a couple more. Just kind of throwing in a few, you know, little hair bits. Try and kind of fill this in. A little better. a little better on that side, and then do the same for here. That'll work smoothly or not. It might be the wrong angle here, yeah. What was it? Graves, we need a broad one. Probably a couple more. Get one each of those. Get one of the engraved already, and then we'll get the broad one. Like so. Oh gosh. Looks pretty weird. Oh well. I think most will, at least in the guild, will know who it's supposed to be. It doesn't look exactly like him, but here we go. So, to get the back part of the hair, kind of, I figure I'm going to have to use some sort of a gray stone to kind of better match the gray of the swords, and so I figured probably the swirly rocks would be the best choice for that. How well they will work, other idea altogether, but we will see if we can sneak in some kind of semblance of hair here. Because basically I need to make it kind of blend it in, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I mean, you're making hair out of things that aren't hair, so bound to run into problems. Trying to get it to look like it's filled in. Don't want it to look like he's got a brain or anything showing, but you know, I figure having the curves kind of show would indicate like locks of hair that are going on back there. You know, that probably won't play off as I'm intending, but that's the idea that I got in my head. Of course, you don't want him like, you know, have some kind of weird head shape going on too much either. I want the hair kind of above his head shape, but not like super sized. He's making a thing. I'm just gonna put a few out and see if this is gonna work. I don't know. really awkward to work with these bits. Not only because of the scale I've chosen, but just, I don't know. There it kind of helps blend these in a little better, I think. Having that sort of hairline, it makes him look like he's got curly hair, but like little girl curls. But maybe I'll decide it's better that that isn't showing. I turn it around the other way. Yeah, that might be better to hide the girl curls. Oh, let's see. Because it did, it just kind of looked weird, didn't have enough bits showing. It's just this side looks really lumpy now. The shape of the rock itself. Kind of got a sort of not perfectly flat bottom, but kind of flat. Still got some curls going. It almost looks like he's wearing one of those poofy white powder wig things. Because for whatever reason, these particular things don't blend as well or as smoothly as the hookah ones. I mean, they do, but they don't, if that makes sense. That line there kind of blends a lot better than this one. This looks dark, and it could be just to do with more of the lighting than anything. Lighting plays a pretty big role in a lot of how your decor looks. Out of that, a different eye. Don't want him looking like he has a tumor on the side of his head. Not a tumor. Okay. Really lumpy. I want to use like a billion of these rocks. Coming out that way. Like he's got goop in his hair that kind of clumped up or something. Poor guy. Hair has seen better days. And his chest might actually be a little too big. Looking out of proportion with the rest of him. So I'm probably going to have to adjust that. I'm not quite sure. It's just the width is a little too much. Yeah, I think that looks a little better. The other just looked too bulky, maybe. His waist is probably actually a little more narrow than that, but I don't want to change that up too much because then I could probably get rid of this one already. Yeah, I think that looks a little more proportionate to the head that we've got going on here. Of course, I may need to actually adjust the shoulder piece, but I don't know. In all the games these days, the shoulder pieces are I always hide mine because they usually look like turtle shells, this gargantuan things, or they got horns pointing and like sticking into your head because of the clipping issues and stuff. Yeah, the arms look a little too big now. For something like this, it's a lot of tweaking here and there, changing up. Changing this and that. Probably still too fat, but you know, I don't really want to get into building the arms and stuff because I think that's just trouble. Yeah, it's kind of coming together. I still need to do the mouth, of course, and maybe the nose doesn't quite have the right line shape to it. I hate to get kind of nuts with changing it up. What it reminds me now is like a Bert and Ernie kind of version of a nose, like a banana on the nose. I could probably try, let's see. I'm gonna put out a few more pieces because I know I'm gonna need them here in the back. And maybe one, but gonna have to probably think about what I could use as the lips, because I don't think this will be suitable. Unless I can get it just the right angle where the line of the stone itself kind of matches the lip line or whatever. I don't think I'm going to be that lucky. What I'm probably going to end up doing is losing the sand side of the face there. I don't think that works. We'll just leave it out. But I think we're going to stop there for today. I got a lot of things I got to work on today, so I can't spend as long as I would like on this. But at least it's kind of starting to take a little better shape. I mean, I think at a glance someone could probably guess that at least an orange, if not a specific one. Again, I'll probably readjust the size of the shoulder pads, probably even the arms too. But I think this looks a little better than it did. It looked really super big before. And I will give some thought as to what we might can use as the mouth. I don't know if it'll be another type of stone or just something that kind of looks gray. I mean, I know there's rockets and other mechanical bits that might work. A table shrunk down to give a straight line mouth. That kind of thing is, you know, I don't want him with an expression per se, other than, you know, the angry eyebrow kind of thing. But we'll see how it goes. But it's coming together, and I'm liking how it looks so far. Not, you know, gonna win any prizes, but it's the thought that counts, kind of thing. So that's it for today. Tomorrow we'll probably come back to this and work on it some more. I'll see about finishing up the hair maybe, and I'm going to give some thought as to whether or not I'm going to add some kind of clothing decoration where it doesn't look like he's bare-chested here, just kind of add in some kind of markings for the line of the clothes that he's wearing in the picture that I'm using as reference, and maybe like some kind of belt feature here as well. May or may not, just depends on if I can come up with something. And I'll probably just do a lot of tweaking, changing angles of things and sizes and that kind of thing, just to kind of shape it a little better. And then once I get to a point where I feel like I really can't think of anything else to do with it, then we'll probably try another type of monument. What it might be, I have no idea, but we'll see. I have a few ideas, I should say, but I'm not sure quite how to pull them off. Similar to this, I'm just kind of testing the waters, see if it's possible to make some kind of a statue on your own, rather than using the pre-built ones. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this little glimpse into my activities, and be sure and drop by again when you get the chance. This particular plot is still open to the public. I've just decided to leave it open permanently. Used to, I liked working in private just to kind of, you know, avoid the issues of visitors coming in and causing things to kind of lag out. But since that's more or less been remedied through older patches, really not an issue anymore. So I've kind of gotten out of the habit of closing this off. Plus the fact that I'm broadcasting myself as I build it, so I might as well allow people to come and take it, well, if they want a closer look. So this one is on celery greenleafs plots, SELURI. I do have a thing for vegetable named orange, so slight misspelling, but it's pronounced like vegetable celery. Anyway, her plot's open. The other plot for mine is turnips, TERNUP. Her plot is the one with the custom built house for one. Just finished it last week, earlier this week, somewhere in there. And I will probably be leaving it up until the end of the year at least, because I have some ideas of how I would like to show how you don't have to change your plot completely to kind of go with the seasons. So as Shades Eve and the Winter Gala from WildStar comes in play, as those events actually happen in game this year, I want to just show that, you know, if you leave yourself a little bit of wiggle room as far as decor count, then you can kind of decorate for the holidays. So both of these plots will remain public. Same way with my mains. Carrot spot will stay public too. I am already kind of thinking about what new plot theme I'm going to be doing for my main. It's already been quite a while since I've had the golf course and subway station up, and since I don't really use my plots for any kind of particular activity, I tend to get, I wouldn't say bored with them, but I'm all the time always looking for the next thing to work on. And so while this is occupying me for a time, eventually I'm going to get to the point where I'm like, well, what do I do now? So I'm gonna be thinking about wiping the slate clean on that one. I'm not going to say when. I really don't know when the mood strikes, and if I have a solid idea of what I might want to put on in place of it, then that will happen. But rest assured, there was always going to be something going on, even if it's me just goofing around just for the fun of it, not a particular goal in mind or anything. But tomorrow, I think I will try and showcase Katya's new housing add-on. You just activate it by slash Katya, and you can see the controls pop up, and we will test it out. I will probably take another look at her demo just to kind of get familiar with what the buttons are supposed to do, and we'll play around with some items and stuff. But I'm also going to be working again on the monument here, so hopefully I don't mess it up by fiddling around with this, but we'll see how that goes. But that'll be tomorrow. And until then, I hope you guys have a great day. And if I don't see you before the weekend, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend as well. Anyway, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.